Hey, how's it going? Craig Williams here, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through this, basically how I'm going to prepare for the Marathon Des Sables 2016. And basically I'm doing this not because I'm some kind of running genius, you know what I mean, and I'm going to absolutely cane the course when the time comes, but because you know, I've got a bit of experience in the fitness industry, and I just wanted to share how I was going to tackle it. I've had no running coaching per se. I've had, you know, no real input from anybody else that's run the Marathon Des Sables. I just thought this would be a good little introduction, really, and I think little videos like this also keeps you sort of accountable as well, and accountability is a massive part of being successful. So this is me, little chubby bugger here. You know, I'm going to talk a little bit more about me before when we crack on. And obviously, if you want to keep up with what I'm doing and all my training and all that kind of stuff, then I've got my own little website, which is Marathon Des Sables. It's supposed to be a little play on words. It's been a little bit too subtle for some people. They've been like, "You do realise you've spelt Sables wrong?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a play on words," because I've no idea whether the MDS for me is going to be like awesome or a complete disaster. In fact, because, you know, the predominant language that's spoke is French, I've started to learn a couple of bits of French, and the first two bits I've learned is how to say shit and how to say help me. So I've really no idea how it's going to play out, but you know, I'm going to share this, and you can see how I'm you know, how I'm going to tackle it. Basically, the reason why I'm doing this, as well as being involved in the fitness industry, I'm a personal trainer, and I've got a residential boot camp and a couple of other little fitness enterprises going on, but I'm also an internet marketer, so little videos like this are second nature really to me, and I really find it helps just to try and share things, and you know, and try and help other people, create a bit of discussion, and you know, and just see what comes of it really. So a couple of things during this video. If you can hear, I've locked my dog away in his cage because he's absolutely freaking nuts, and I've given him a bone covered in peanut butter, and he's going absolutely crazy. So if you can hear some banging and what have you in the background, all right, I've not got some bloody woman locked up in the cellar. It's my dog that's trying to eat this bone. Okay, and I've also got this bloody virus on my computer at the minute, and every now and again I just get a load of like audio adverts playing in my earphones, and it puts me off a little bit, but I'll try and work through it. And it's not happened this morning, but it does every now and again. Okay, so if things go wrong, you obviously know what's happening. Little logo down here. This is the residential boot camp that I was talking about. We're actually going to be sort of my main sponsors really for the Marathon Des Sables, and I'm doing, and I should have had a logo on here to be honest, I'm doing the Marathon Des Sables in aid of walking with the wounded. Again, I'll talk about that a little bit more in depth. Okay, let's crack on. All right, so I wasn't always get back. I wasn't always into fitness. Hang on a minute, it's going a bit crazy. I wasn't always into fitness. You know, I was a little bit of a porker. Now the thing that really shocks people and surprises people is that when the time when this photograph was taken, and it's not that long ago, I was actually in the Royal Marines. I've gone through the whole, what is reputed to be the toughest military training in the Western world, and I was supposed to be in the top 0.1% of the fittest young lads in the world, or in the country at least, and I was actually a bit of a porker. All right, so I had man boobs, love handles, you know, beer gut, and all that, and I basically ate too much, hated exercise because I saw it as punishment, to be honest. And although there were little bits of talent coming through, so I played a lot of rugby league, you know, I did a little bit of running and what have you. I never really embraced it too much because it just seemed like punishment, and it's something that I didn't really want to get involved in too much. When I left the Marines, I thought, right, enough's enough. I went to a kebab shop, bought a kebab, walked out, caught sight of myself in the window of the kebab shop, and I'd sort of gone up to 15 stone there, and I did a bit of boxing when I was in the Marines, and my sort of fighting weight there was about 12.5 stone. So I was just like, Jesus, you got to sort this out, you fat bastard, you know. And apologies if I upset anybody, but it's the truth. And from that point on, I thought, right, that's it. And I started to study nutrition, started to study fitness, started to test everything really. I tried all the bloody different fad diets as you do, the little yo-yo diets, and all the new fandangle fitness gadgets like bloody, you know, electronic pads that you stick on your gut to try and give you a six-pack. I tried everything, and eventually what helped me was just building my knowledge of fitness and exercise. I went on a personal training course, did that, became an advanced personal trainer, and really found love of fitness. In the last couple of years, and I lost loads of weight, so I lost about 4 stone. Here, you know, I was doing a lot of CrossFit then, before CrossFit was mainstream, and not before Reebok got hold of it. You know, I was doing lots and lots of real intense exercise, and you know, and was really fit. I then started, you know, got into business, and spent a lot of time behind a desk and behind a computer, and although I've sort of maintained my weight pretty much, I'm certainly not doing as much exercise as I used to do, and as what I need to do. Okay, so it's a little bit of a rough story. So again, this is me when I was pretty much at my peak running wise. Did a couple of marathons, and what's interesting is I did one marathon, and I trained in a very traditional marathon training way. Okay, so lots and lots of miles, you know what I mean, just absolutely ran myself into the ground pretty much, and basically I ended up with, you know, a couple of overuse injuries, and my marathon time wasn't actually that great. Okay, I did this mountain marathon, and this was like the benchmark. I did it 2 years on the road. So first year I did it, and you know, I was right up in the part. I came about 40th on the course, and training in a traditional marathon training way. Okay, or what you would think is a traditional way. The next year, then, I decided I was going to change all that, knowing a lot more than I did, and I decided that, you know, when my legs were getting tired and starting to give up on the hills and stuff like that, it wasn't because I had a lack of endurance and I need to increase my miles, but it was because I had a lack of leg strength, you know, and my legs, there wasn't enough strength in my legs and what have you. So I decided I was going to train a whole different way, and the way that I trained, I'm going to share that with you now, because I'm going to do a similar kind of thing for the Marathon Des Sables. Okay, so that's that. By the way, this marathon I came 10th in my sort of class, which is pretty good. I don't class myself as a runner at all. In fact, you know, just sort of going back slightly, talking about a couple of things. First of all, I was fat. Okay, so, you know, if you're fat, if you're carrying extra weight, you know, that makes running hard. All right, and I wasn't interested in running, like I said, but as well as that, my feet are really predisposed to blisters and bruising. I once went to see a biomechanic because I was in a lot of Achilles tendon problems, and he said I've got the flattest feet he's ever seen, and he said all the muscles in the back of your legs are too short. And at the time, I'd picked up this horrendous tropical bloody foot disease that was just rotting my bloody feet. So I had a lot going against me. But I've, you know, hopefully this program will sort a lot of that shit out. Okay, so moving on then, I just want to talk about fitness and the way that I perceive fitness, and the way that you know, hopefully you will perceive fitness as opposed to what many people think is fitness. Okay, so the fitness industry really changed in the 1960s when bodybuilding became very popular, and suddenly people thought that fitness was big muscles and, you know, looking great. All right, and it's not. I mean, the image is a byproduct of good training. All right. The opposite end of the scale there was people thought that you know, you was fit if you could run miles and miles, you know. But the issue is, and I want to use two sort of examples now. So I've got a friend who does a lot of strength training. He is incredibly strong, but he can't walk up a set of stairs. All right, and then I've also got a friend who you know, he used to train with Lance Armstrong, you know, on some of the runs that he used to do. Well, in fact, he ran the London Marathon with Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong's supposed to be, you know, the best endurance athlete there ever has. Okay, a lot of controversy at the minute because of drugs and all that kind of stuff. But hey, if you don't think there's drugs in every sport, then you know, you're fooling yourself. But it's supposed to be the best endurance athlete that's ever lived, and you know, and a friend of mine beat him in the London Marathon, okay, because Lance Armstrong's hip flexors just were too short after doing lots of cycling, and he blew up in the end. And so my mate's a pretty good runner, all right, but he can't lift his own weight, all right. You know, he can't do a pull up or something like that. So is he truly fit? Okay, so what I've got here on this little on the screen is a little demonstration of what I call it the sphere of fitness, okay, and this is how, you know, a lot of people have got to look at it, because the minute you start getting very specific at one thing, you know, unless you do that for the rest of your life, you're running the risk of injury and overuse injury, and for me, boredom is a massive thing. Okay, so basically in the middle here, sorry I've been learning French, look, right? In the middle here, we've got like a spectrum. This is pretty mid, right? Mid, however you say it, midday, God knows. Okay, this is it in the middle. All right, then as we go out, it gets like totes and maze balls. Now I don't know when you're watching this video, but right now totes and maze balls is pretty cool. Okay, I asked my little boy, and he says that's a pretty cool word to say, so it's in there. You know, if you're watching this in a couple of years' time, you might be thinking, what is this guy on? All right, but okay, so this is it. Now each one of these lines represents a different facet of fitness. Okay, first one there being strength. All right, so same again, and strength doesn't necessarily just have to be, you know, how muscly you are, or bodybuilding, all that kind of stuff. It's how much weight you can lift. You know, your maximum amount of weight that you can lift, perhaps with one effort. Okay, so that's strength. Okay, let's make it relevant to what we're talking about here. Is it relevant to the Marathon Des Sables? Well, yeah, in some cases, in a lot of cases, it is. When you get up them sand dunes carrying weight, you're going to need strength. You know, and if you run yourself into the ground and you've actually, you know, you're doing that many miles that you eat away your muscles and stuff like that, you're not going to have the strength to get yourself up the sand dunes. Okay, so you're going to need a certain amount of strength. You're going to need strength to be able to carry the weight that you're running. Okay, so you know, strength is definitely required. Speed is another one. Is speed required because you know you're gonna be off? You're going to be doing lots and lots of miles, nice and steady state. Well, yeah, because you know speed is directly relative to strength, and it's directly relative to power. And if you need a last ditch sprint to the finish line, or you need to to sprint up a sand dune, or whatever, you need to increase the pace and everything, you're going to need a certain amount of speed. The next one then is MSE, which might be a new term to you. Okay, MSE stands for muscular strength endurance. Okay, so this is your muscles working, you know, over and over and over again. Okay, for a long period of time. Okay, so don't get confused with this being like cardiovascular fitness. We're going to come on to that in a minute, but this is the ability for the muscles to keep going, and lots of things, you know, ride on this, like the muscle fibers and the amount of energy that your muscles can store in your little, you know, stores in your muscles and stuff like that, and all that kind of stuff. But basically it's staving off that fatigue and just the ability for the muscle to work and work. MSE. All right, is that going to be incredibly important for the Marathon Des Sables? Holy shit, yes it is. Okay, next one then, flexibility. Is that going to be required for the Marathon Des Sables? Well, yes it is, because you know it helps incredibly with preventing injury. It helps with recovery. You know, and if I was to sort of things like flexibility in the spine, something we don't often think about, but if you're new to running, start running and what have you, then you can have real sort of lower back issues because there's a lack of flexibility in the muscles, and the muscles are cramping up in the lower back, and same with the hamstrings and the glutes. And as well as that, if we don't have flexibility in some muscles, a prime example is the piriformis, right? Okay, which is the muscle that runs sort of pretty much through your arse, right, and to the big muscle in the top of your leg, big bone to the top of your leg. And when I first started training, getting into this again, I ended up with piriformis syndrome, where the muscles were too tight and it was causing issues. It was causing pain, sciatic pain, and it means that, you know, some muscles are working harder than others, and you haven't got, you're not recruiting all the muscles that you should do in a balanced way, and the body likes to work in a balanced way. Next one, cardiovascular fitness. Okay, so that's the ability for the body to take in and use oxygen. Okay, and obviously get rid of the byproducts. Yes, you're going to need cardiovascular fitness. You're going to need a hell of a lot of cardiovascular fitness. Okay. But what you've got to bear in mind here is cardiovascular fitness is something that can be trained just like everything else. Now, if you do lots of stuff and you think, okay, I'm going to run the Marathon Des Sables, I'm going to try and run 13-minute miles, or whatever your pace, whatever pace you decide to do, and you just run at that pace at 13-minute miles. Okay, now your heart and lungs will get very good at running at that pace, but what happens when you hit the 1,000-meter climb on the long day, or you got to get up the sand dunes and all that? You're going to be blowing out your backside. Okay, especially because you've got so much overload on all the other facets of fitness and all the other bits of your body as well. You know, you're limited about muscles going to be screaming out for more oxygen, and it's going to be screaming out for the blood to take away the waste products, and screaming out for the blood to bring more energy from the liver and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so you're going to need lots and lots of cardiovascular fitness. Motor skills are things like balance, proprioception, which is where your body sees itself in time and place, coordination, lots of different stuff. Well, yeah, you're going to need a lot of motor skills because, the the potential for twisting an ankle, or losing your balance and falling and hurting yourself and all that is incredible. Is really, really high. So all these motor skills will prevent that, or help you prevent that, especially when you start getting tired and fatigued and not thinking straight. But as well as that, running is a skill that your body can learn and improve, as in technique wise. And motor skills helps your body to recognise when you're running with the right technique and you're running efficiently, and when you're running in a pace that's comfortable for you. So again, that is incredibly important. And then the final one that I put here is power, okay, which is pretty much strength at speed equals power. All right, and you're going to need power to be vaulting up them bloody sand dunes. I know you might not think like, oh, I'll be vaulting anywhere after 20 miles or whatever. But although you don't feel like you're vaulting, your muscles are going through a vaulting action to try and get you over that. All right, so you're gonna need power. So you're gonna need all them things. Now, right now, if I look at this, and obviously you've got shit here, and then you've got totes and maze balls out here. I look at this, and for me, I look at this. Am I strong? No. In the past, I've been pretty strong. I could deadlift 2.5 times my body weight, nearly 3 times my body weight, and I was probably up here. Almost an elite level of strength. Right now, I'm down here. Speed, no. Pants. MSE's getting better. Okay, because I've been training for about 4 weeks. That's getting better. All right, and that would be around here. Flexibility, no, it's terrible, but I'm working on that every day. CV is slightly getting better. Motor skills, not bad. Power, again, pretty weak. And basically, I'm not sure, I can't really draw it on there, but what you're after is a full circle with regards to fitness, because then that means that you're truly fit in all aspects, okay, and you've got no imbalances and all this kind of stuff. Okay, right now I'm not. So I hope that sort of explains the idea of fitness, and I hope I've sort of, maybe you agree with what I'm saying there, maybe you don't. Okay, but here's the master plan, and I needed to go through that other stuff before I went into sort of my master plan. Okay, so here we go. I've got obviously January's gone now, but I've got the rest of the month, about 14 months before the big event in April. So I split it down to 3 phases, okay, or 3 periods, which is what you're doing in a good sort of training regime. I've got a preparation phase, all right, which I'll talk about in a minute. I've got another phase over here, a building phase, and a peaking phase, and I've also got a little taper here, because you're going to need a bit of a taper to give the body time to adjust and rest before you hit the Sahara over here. Okay, so in the preparation phase, my main aims then is basically I need to make exercise habitual. Now, if you've decided that you're going to do the Marathon Des Sables, this may not even enter your head. You know what I mean? It might be that you don't exercise very often, and I don't, I'm afraid. I work in the fitness industry, but I actually love doing my marketing and that kind of stuff more than I love running. So I need to make exercise habitual again, and that's going to take a concerted effort. I've got to commit to that, and I've got to make it habitual, so that I've got to realise that every day counts. And even if it's a planned rest day and I'm doing fuck all, sorry, nothing, sorry for the language. But anyway, I think you're going to hear lots of bad language on the Sahara if you're running the Sahara, so don't worry about it too much. So I'll go back to you've got to get used to to not even if you come on, if it's a planned rest day, then and you're doing fuck all that day, then that day still counts. Okay, it still counts. You're not doing anything per se, anything tangible, but what you're actually doing is giving your body time to rest, recover, repair, get fitter, get stronger and leaner, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so every day counts, and exercise really must be a ritual. You've got to work on that. Now my top tip from that is you've got to be pushing on for more than 21 days, because after 21 days on average people start to form a new habit, okay, and then it takes another 3 months then for it to be a lifelong habit that you'll always have, okay, but you need to be pushing on for 21 days. It's easy to do it for 7, it's easy to do it for 14, starts to fall off the wagon a little bit, but if you can just plan, right, okay, 21 days, and what I did was I put a grid, I put like a calendar on my whiteboard on the wall, and every time I did exercise or did a day that was that would count towards my Marathon Des Sables, I put a cross on there, okay, and eventually I didn't want to break the chain, okay, got past 21 days, and exercise is habitual now for me after 3 weeks. I need to build a base level of fitness. When we're talking about that grid, we want as round a platform of fitness as we can. I need to get lean, okay, I'm probably carrying around an extra 10 kilos, extra 9 kilos now pretty much, that I need to get rid of, really. So I need to get rid of that body fat, and I need to eradicate imbalances. I've got pre-existing injuries from rugby and other training injuries and everything that I just need to get rid of. So I'll see a physio, sports masseur. I'm doing lots of flexibility stuff, lots of yoga, just trying to work them imbalances out. But again, it's a component of fitness that a lot of people wouldn't really think about. And all this is set to prepare me ready for pretty much just before the summer, when I hit the building phase. Okay, so the building phase, I'm going to build on the fitness that I've got here. All right. Now remember, if we, temptation would have it that you'd start here and all you'd do is run. Now the chance of getting injured with that, getting bored with that, of eating your muscle as energy with that, it is massive. Okay, but with this kind of program, all right, you're doing lots of other stuff that's going to help you prevent injury. It's going to make your body work in a balanced manner. It's going to make you very, very good at lots of different stuff and truly fit. All right. So the first in the building phase, the first thing that I need to do is increasing the MSE. All right. So I'm going to use a lot of different kind of repeats, interval training, all this kind of stuff to build this MSE. Sorry about that. Just take that away. Okay, and I'm also going to build leg strength. Okay, because right now my legs aren't particularly strong. I need to do it in a manner where I'm not just building loads and loads of muscle, because at the end of the day I've got to carry that muscle. But you can maybe I'll do another video about the difference between strength and muscle building, which we call hypertrophy. But I need to build leg strength. Okay, that's the important bit for that. And then in the peaking phase, this is where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 and a bit months out. Okay, and what I need to be doing here is really peaking on my running. Okay, the stuff that's going to get, and walking and hiking and all that, that's going to get me through the Marathon Des Sables in the best manner that it can. Okay, so I've built this great fitness, excellent fitness here over these months. Now we're going to start making it specific to long distance running, okay? Because at the end of the day, that's the shit that we've got to crack. So I need to increase the miles, okay? The miles will start to increase here, all right? I've not necessarily just started to do loads and loads of miles here because, again, you're just increasing the chance of injury there, all right? And there's no real need for it just yet, okay? There's no need to panic. I'm going to introduce weight. So little things that you can do is even just putting weight in a backpack, and just walking, when you go shopping, just walk around with the weight on your back, okay? It's all conditioning for your body and getting used to carrying that weight, okay? So, that's something that I used to do all the time. Every time, when I was getting ready for a real tough military course, I would put weight in the backpack, and everywhere I went, when I walked the dog, went into town to get shopping and all this kind of stuff, I would just carry the weight, and it really helped. And obviously this is the period where I need to be testing testing kit, okay? So testing bloody footwear, bags, what food I'm going to have, what how much water I need to be drinking on a steady basis, and all this kind of stuff. All right. Now the reason why I started testing kit here is because I'm going to lose weight. My body's shape is going to change. My nutritional requirements and everything is going to change. There's lots of stuff going on here, and we don't really need to be testing kit until a few months out. Okay. So this is it. Okay. So that's the overall master plan. All right, this has been going on about 20 minutes. I hope it's not too long, but let's crack on. Maybe I'll split it up in the future. I don't know. Okay, so the next thing then, we're going to look at each phase, and this is roughly what I'm going to do. A very broad brush overview of what I'm going to do. Okay, and this is missing a lot of detail, but the detail will come out in my little daily, weekly posts, and maybe I'll do actual training programs for you to download and stuff like that. Depends, what you want. Just message me either on Facebook or on the blog, and just let us know what kind of stuff you think would help you, or if you've got comments that would help other people and stuff. All right. So here we are. So I'm working over a training week. Okay. I don't often do this, but I'm doing this for this just because it helps me work at the minute, and I just want it to become habitual. Like I said, Monday's rest. Reason for that I'll come into a bit. Tuesday I do some kind of interval work. Okay, so I might do Tabata intervals, Tabata sprints on the runner and the rower. Now obviously there's other stuff going on in these sessions. It's just this is predominantly I'm going to be doing intervals. Okay, so I might start off with like 15-minute nice steady state jog, the 5 times 400 meter sprints, or Tabata rows, 40 seconds sprint, 20-second rest on the bike, or also different intervals and stuff like that. Okay, so Tuesday will be my interval day. Wednesday I will do either tempo runs, which is where basically we have a consistent pace, but we have we change the terrain, the incline, the decline, and all that kind of stuff. Or I'll do repeats. Now, difference between a repeat and an interval is that the repeat is this isn't proper, but basically repeats are generally longer. All right, and so I'll use maybe use like a 500 or 600 meter course, and I'll just run the course. I'll jog back nice and steady, run the course, jog back nice and steady. Or sometimes near me there's a hill, or like a saddle, like a valley, and I'll sprint up one side, jog down the other, sprint up the other, jog down the other. So you get some hill sprints and stuff like that in as well. Okay, so that's the kind of stuff I'm doing on a Wednesday. Thursday I'm doing like a short walk, and in that short walk, I'm walking every day with the dog and stuff like that, but in that short walk I'll do some liveners. So basically I'll just trot uphill for a bit, or I'll just do like a couple of like moderately paced sprints, just to get the legs sort of ticking over and wake them up a little bit. I'm resting, and then just so we call it sort of active rest. I'm still kind of moving and getting rid of some of the crap that's in your legs and stuff like that after your hard work here, but I'm not doing anything too strenuous. Friday I'm doing like a 10k best effort. I do a steady state up to 45-minute run on Saturday, and then Sunday is my long run day. Okay, so this is when I'm doing long runs. Okay, so this is kind of how I'm preparing at the minute, just to try and get back into the fitness. Other things that I'm doing is with these, I won't always just use running, so I'll use cycling, I'll use rowing, I'll use kettlebells, I'll use little weight circuits, I'll do like interval, you can do like interval cleans, so you'll 10 cleans, rest, 10 cleans, rest, 10 cleans. So I'm doing all sorts of different stuff really, just to help build this base level of fitness and to lean out and achieve the aims for that stage. Okay, next one then, the building phase. This is where I really start to kick it in. Alright, so I've built a good foundation, less chance of injury on session 1. So as you can see, I'm doing 3 days when I'm working out, 4 days rest. I will take the 5th day if I'm feeling fatigued or I'm not sleeping particularly well. Okay, listen to your body. It's incredibly important to prevent fatigue and to make sure you're recovering properly. Okay, but ideally, what I'm going to aim for is 3 on, 1 off. Strength stuff, so this will be deadlifts, really heavy deadlifts, squats. I'll do some push press. I won't do a great deal of bench because bench press, because it's not really going to be very effective for me. I might do some heavy kettlebell work, all sorts of different strength stuff there. I'm resting then. I've got a long period of rest through the afternoon and the evening, or stretching in the evening, and then a 5k steady state run where I barely break a sweat on that. Okay, nice and steady. I'll then do some kind of repeats, and again I'm looking for progression all the time. So the repeats I'm doing here in the building phase there'll be either more of them or they'll be more intense than the repeats I was doing in the foundation, in the preparation phase. I'm resting this morning, and then I'm doing a metabolic conditioning circuit, which really involves weights and sprints, all different, like a CrossFit type session where I'm just blasting everything, and just causing the mother of all earthquakes in my heart muscles and lungs. Okay, so a metabolic conditioning circuit there, which has massive. If we just do like 5k steady state, okay, this gets us very good at doing 5k steady state. If you do metabolic conditioning and repeats and sprints, this gets us good at not only metabolic conditioning, sprints and repeats, but also as a crossover onto these steady state things, because it's all to do with the heart rate and efficiency and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so you're getting more bang for your buck from these type of sessions. After that, your central nervous system is going to be quite tired and stuff, so then I'm going to throw in a bit of day's rest, and then I repeat the cycle pretty much. Okay, and then rest. Now if I ever get to one of these sessions and I just don't feel like it, well, hey, in some respect you've got to get on with it. But if I'm starting to pick up little aches and pains that are not just like muscle soreness from exercise, it's something else, perhaps a sprain or an early strain or something like that, then I'll tone it down a little bit. But again, like I said, I'm always looking for progression. And stretching again in the evenings, like I said, stacks and stacks of stretching every day counts. Even if you're resting, you can still do some stretching. You need to be doing some stretching there, really concentrating on the hamstrings, the quads, the hip flexors, the muscle called the TFL, the tensor fasciator, which runs on the outside of your of your leg. And I'm going to share loads of videos about all this stuff anyway, so you know, just stay tuned for it. Okay, next one, then the peaking phase. Like I said, my main aim there is to build on that base level of fitness that we've created in the building phase, increase the miles, start adding some weight. So every time I'm going out, I'm going to be carrying weight and all that kind of shit. Okay, I'm doing strength work again on Monday and Fridays. I'm back to the 7-day split, but that's because it's going to help with these day hikes here. 10 mile steady state run on the Tuesday. I'll just see how I feel. You know, I'm not really pushing for any great time. I just want to sort of have a look at the heart rate, get used to the pace, keep the miles up, alright, so my body's accustomed to that. Metabolic conditioning on the Wednesday. On the Thursday, I'm looking at some sort of 3 to 4 hour walk or bike, which is active rest after this. Okay, so I'm not pushing it too much, but I'm just active for 3 or 4 hours. Okay, so a lot longer than I have been in the past. Strength training again on the Friday. Obviously, you know, we've got to watch this. We don't want to be doing too much, okay, but we need to continue to build the strength and stuff like that. LSD is, yeah, obviously you know what LSD is, but this doesn't mean, you know, I've not put aside Saturday night, LSD night. This is long, slow distance running, okay, so similar to this 10 miler, but I'm just going to see how it goes really. Previously when I've done this kind of program before, I've gone up to like 17.5 mile before and all this, and really, you know, this is like test your kit, get used to bloody, you know, you put your race nutrition and all this kind of stuff, and you know, so I'm really cranking up the miles and just seeing how it goes. A variety of different terrains, like it's not just on the treadmill and not just on the road. I'll do, you know, cross country running, hill running, all sorts of different stuff, but long, slow, steady stuff where I, you know, rarely do I sort of break, you know, like break into a sprint or anything like that. And on these periods I'll be tracking everything that's going on, my heart rate, my, you know, how I felt, what the kit's like, you know, when I ate an energy gel, all this kind of stuff, okay, just to try and get as much information as I can. And then this one then is like a long day hike where, you know, I'm really going to sort of just get out for the day in the hills and, you know, for the whole day, maybe a couple of days if I can spare the time, and just get used to doing the miles and seeing how it goes. Okay, so I hope that helps. Stacks and stacks of information there. What I'll probably do is just save this as a PDF for you to download and you can have a look at if you want. If you've got questions, points, anything that you think can fucking help me, if you think I'm way off track or whatever, let me know. And you know, and I'll just keep this information going. But you know, please make it a two-way thing and keep talking to us and share it as well. If you've got people that you think would benefit from this, then you know, share it to them as well. Okay, so till the next video, take care.